And we are live. Yeah, that's nice. You're now on the recording. Well done. And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. Vlogcasts are coming from a skeptical point of view to answer the questions of why. The Vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect because, man, there's just... If you tuned in last week, yeah, I should have just had the 5-minute freestyle labeled as just continue ... But I didn't, and trust me, that was cathartic as all get out.
No, you should have done more. You could have done it for 15, 20, 30 minutes and kept on going.
Part of this is to follow through with the old adage, sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. I'm your main host. I'm known as Shujin. You can find me pretty much everywhere under that name. That's Shujin. Hi. I got news for you, and some of you guys are going to have fun with this at my expense. You'll see why in a moment. Joining me tonight, at the moment, from the right-hand coast, UnrenownedTech, you are able to be here. Good morning.
I'm here in mind only. My body has said, nope, hell with it. Just kidding. Oh, wait, no, it's the other way around. My body's here. Yeah. Damn. Yep. Brain definitely took a vacation.
I'll tell y'all why that's really super funny in just a moment. And on the left coast, Io is rejoining us again. Good evening, hun.
Hi. And I'm hurt. I'm hurt bad. I have ice on my leg because of a collision between me and an e-bike. It's not broken. That's all I can say. It's not broken. It should have been, but it's not broken.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting week this week, and we'll give you all a real quick fill in on parts of that in just a second. If you'd like to join us as we do this live on the weekends, Saturday night into Sunday morning on the East Coast of the U.S., please, by all means, feel free to join us, because at that point you can be part of the live chat over there, which means good morning, Stephanie. Good to have you over there. YouTube being weird and funky. Imagine that. It's going to be what it is. And, oh, there's Io. Hi, Io. Good to see you again. Anyway, it's, so for those of you that are not necessarily sure as far as to what's going on, in the real world, as of the recording of this show, some folks in the IT world are going absolutely batshit. And I don't have a problem with calling it that, because there are other terms for it. So, Tech, to the best of my knowledge, you have not needed to play games with all this crap that's been going on, right?
No.
Yeah. And fortunately, I don't have to deal with it, and Io is not a computer IT personality, so doesn't have to play with it.
Actually,
I've been laughing at it.
Yeah.
Considering all the boomers that live around me, and the fact that my other half was IT tech, I actually have to translate his words into words that they can understand.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
There's been a couple of calls.
No, that's fair. I thought you were gonna say had to
So-
translate it from Navy speak, because
Now, before we start harping on the boomers, there is one thing I want to say. I have taught a lot of things. I've taught math, I've taught computers, and a bunch of other things. And when it came to teaching computers, I had more positive uh, results and gains from my uh, essentially students that were of my parents and older generation, so the boomers, if you will, than I did with people my own generation or in between the two. Because at least with the older generation, what I called them I had my golden book of users because they were in their golden years. Um, they were willing to admit that they didn't know, and they were willing to take notes and write it down and ask questions if they didn't get it. whereas the ones who were younger were either like, oh, I got it, you don't need to tell me I'm wrong or whatever, I know what I'm doing. Is like, if you know what you're doing, why are you spending this much money on me teaching you how to use this?
Hubris, thy name is, where's my checkbook?
Yeah. So and it really was. It was a really skewed more favorably towards the older than any of the other generations I was teaching at the time. It might have been the demographics of the area. I don't know. I don't have a way to prove it one way or the other. I just know that from my experience, it was much easier in the overall to teach the older ones because they at least were willing to admit that they were wrong
Yeah.
Well,
or didn't know.
hubby has a client who is a 60, 63, 64-year-old,
Ugh.
white hair, and she has purposely handicapped herself when it comes to computers.
Yes. Those are the
To
ones I
the
was saying that I had a problem with. The 80-year-olds though that I used to teach, the ones I would teach that were in their late 70s, early 80s, even the 90s, those were fun. They actually
Yeah.
said, "I don't understand what you're saying. Can you tell me it another way?" Or, "Okay, I understood what you said, but I need you to show me."
And I wanna make sure that folks understand something too that's like super important. If you want to teach somebody something, doesn't matter how formal or informal it is, the best thing to remember is if you can explain it, whatever the topic is, to literally anybody of any age so that they get it, you know the subject well enough. If you can't, you need to reevaluate how far you're willing to go and be able to say for yourself, you know what, I might not be the best person to explain it to you.
Yeah, well, what you're saying, I owe about those 60-somethings, literally crippling themselves. They'd pay me hundreds of dollars to come to their home, literally hundreds of dollars to come to their home, to sit with them for several hours. And what the most common reaction was when they did something wrong was, the computer's broken. No, it's not. Well, I didn't break it. I've never said you broke it, ma'am or sir. What you did was you did something wrong. So let's identify what that is so that way you can correct yourself and not make that mistake again. I didn't make a mistake. It's the computer. It's stupid. And I'm like,
Mm.
no, there are words I want to say, but I'm going to be the professional and the mature adult in this room because even though you're older than me, you're not behaving like one.
I believe the word that you wanted to use at that point was, and I need to lean back and away from the computer, the microphone, because reasons, you'll see why. I think the term that you wanted to use for these people was wrong!
Yes.
Just
The
saying.
ones that eventually got past that whole knee-jerk reaction to go, okay, so I made a mistake, show me what I did wrong so I don't do it again, they were the ones who made progress. And some of those were in the 60s, but man, a lot of those people in the 60s group pushed back hard
Yeah.
against admitting they were
Well,
wrong.
well, this one client shows up and he pays her bills for her. She actually hands him the cash and he uses his cards. She cannot seem to bring everything that she needs in order for her bills to be paid. She always forgets something, be it her cell phone, be it the envelopes and the contents within of the stuff that needs to be paid, and she cannot deal with a computer. She cannot deal with it. She looks at computers and just
Well, if it's a
it's
Windows machine, tell them to return it and get a Mac because those are made for mommies and daddies. God, I love that line.
3 dead trolls in a baggie. You know what? We need. There's our first item for the show notes to add. So, 3 dead trolls in a baggie. We'll.
Actually, I added something earlier.
Oh, I know that. But
Yeah.
the first one for while we're doing the show right now. Stephanie is
I've
also
got it in the host chat.
cool enough. Stephanie is basically, put it over there. Someone from Texas. We're not going to name company names because we're not going to piss off the people that richly deserve it, but they're a group that rhymes with they're not using a Commodore 64 for some stupid reason. because Commodore 64s don't break. And when they do, you can get a soldering iron and you can fix it. Someone from Texas uploaded a security patch that was not tested. It messed up the cloud, so you are fine if you do not use that. Yeah, it kind of damaged a whole bunch of like big time infrastructure. Stuff that like now requires like hands-on fixing, which is not cool. But you know what? As a primary Linux user, doesn't affect me. I use Windows 5% of the time for my computing. Doesn't affect me. And when all is said and done, you know what? Spirit Airlines using your Commodore 64 as your data server center, you know what? Good on you guys. You at least know what the hell you're doing. You don't know very much of anything else that you're doing, but you know what? Good on you for keeping your infrastructure up and running. So we applaud you. By the way, if anybody wants a copy, wants me to develop an interbase database file for you, I'll be more than happy to do that. I've got the redistributable license for distributed interbase 1, which is 16-bit, so it might be a little bit limited on what it can do, but hey, it'll do the job. I've got Delphi 2 back over here, so you know, don't give me shit. I've got a weapon of war. Leave me alone. Object-oriented Pascal. Talk with you about it. So yeah, we got a bunch of stuff. Now, on top of everything else, by the way, I'm going to do something tonight that I haven't done in a long time. And this is where it gets to be good. I have drinks to try out. So I have hauled out the glass. So yes, we have alcohol to try out. Now I did show the guys 2 out of the 3 because I want their reaction to the third to be on camera. The first one we've got over here is Farm to Tap Honey Kolsch, and my friends and I we went to an eatery that also has a whole bunch of Buffalo-based stuff, foods and merch and whatnot, and I found a couple of drinks. This was one of them. So that is the first guy to choose from. The second one is Myers Creek Mo Honey Mo Kolsch, which can you see that there's a little bit of a theme here? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. So there was that one. Now here's where it gets to be funny. Number 3. And I'm going to tell you right now, I intentionally chose this one only because of the art on it. The art on it looks like this. This is absolutely free art on it. Bark to the Future. KCOBC. So this is the same type of drink, and I just looked at the label and I'm just like, I'm buying this because this is too friggin' great.
Okay, now that's an IPA, which is not what the other first 2 were.
I know. And
IPA is going to be very hoppy.
Oh yeah, and we know full well I don't like hoppy. I don't like IPA, but for the art,
just want to put that one on. Yeah, you might want to put that on the shelf behind your head.
I might.
Yeah,
I might.
get it.
I might put it in the freezer and just leave it there for till the Ice Age.
It's carbonated. I don't recommend that.
Till the Ice Age, and kind of go from there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Stephanie's also pointed out, I love Linux, but the games I like to play insist on Microsoft. Yeah, I've got two very specific games that don't like to emulate. But it is what it is. And the only reason why I reboot into Windows to do the show is because the audio system under Linux that I would be doing this with, for whatever reason, the driver system, and I've never been able to understand it and fix it, is super crackly. And I do not know why. I just don't. I do have to upgrade the version of Ubuntu that I'm working with. I'm currently booting with 1804 dot whatever. I do not have a choice anymore. The newest version of the Second Life client uses a library system that I need to upgrade to 24.044 because when I tried to install the library files that it said that it wanted, when I ran it in terminal to find out what's going on, and I ran the terminal to install whatever the libraries are, I got an error message that said, yeah, if you try to do that, you're going to break the account fake root. For those of you that are like I am and don't understand what that means, my first question when I read that was, what the fuck is and why have I never heard of the term fake root? It doesn't matter what it is. All you need to know is that my Google foo said, if you do this, you will brick your computer. That was the term that was used, brick your computer. I have not heard the term brick your computer referring to the operating system in a very long time. I did not want to do that. So this week I'm going to be trying something that is supposed to work correctly, but I need to quadruple check to make sure that I do it right because I don't want to screw it up. So, yeah. So, do we have a do we have a choice on which of the two drinks to go with?
A or B?
I thought there was 3.
There is 3, but we know full well that I'm not going to necessarily like IPA. We've been through this several times before. IPAs tend to be just meh on me, and I typically don't even bother finishing like 3 sips. So I'm gonna wait on that one and like chill it like really, really, really hard. But I'm much more interested in either one of these. So the honey kolsch or the Mo honey. What do you think?
I'd probably go for
I don't
first.
drink beers and ales, so I have no clue.
Generally speaking, neither do I. That's the whole reason why I try these. What were you saying, Tech?
Might as well just go with the first one.
The honey kolsch?
Sure.
Why not? Farm to tap. All right. The big B goes to the side. And reminding you, here on this show, we like bees. We don't like hornets and wasps.
Nope.
We like bees.
Nope.
Bees are good. Bees pollinate. Bees eventually do good things. Wasps and hornets are just psychotic ass needles of stabby death, and they can die in a fire. Preferably a fire that I have set personally.
I like drowning them, actually.
Well, when they're in a football up overhead, it's kind of hard to do that, though.
If you get at the football when it's small enough and you just drown them and drown them and drown them, they're thinking, oh, it's raining. Eek. And they generally don't sting you. I've gotten rid of several that way, but the smaller ones.
Yeah, I used a 5-gallon bucket of soapy water for the yellow jacket nest that was in my yard one time because, well, I wanted them gone. And I wasn't going to go through the court system to do it. It worked. It took all 5 gallons, I think maybe twice, but it worked. Surprised the hell out of me. So, there we go. It's not as cold as I would have liked, but you know what? That's okay. And, uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
This is starting to smell like it's beer.
It is a beer.
Yeah, but you know with me, there is, there's beer, and then it's beer.
Gotcha.
You know, that mid-1970s Budweiser, because you're a kid and your dad said, hey, we've been out here in the sun for a long time in the summer building a shed that's going to get torn down because I never got variance from the town. So let's have a beer. I have to take back what I said. It does not taste like it's a beer. There is a little bit of an actual honey taste to it, which I'm kind of surprised about.
My dad used to tell me that Budweiser was a fantastic beer back in this day. But when one of the employees became disgruntled and shot the horse,
Yeah.
the beer never tasted the same again.
Yeah.
Almost like it was a curse.
For anybody that's wondering, that's a reference to "It tastes like carbonated horse piss." And I think the only ones that use that joke anymore are the Aussies, and they are right.
Discord is giving me fits.
Well, Discord is Discord.
It's better fits than the
Yeah.
other one that begins with S.
Yeah, considering what my screen looks like every once in a while, yeah, it is what it is. You know what? We're like 20 plus minutes in. I think I better get us rolling. So let me go ahead and do that.
Longest intro ever.
Pretty close to it. So let me go ahead and do that. So at 5 minutes on the clock, your 5-minute freestyle is going to start right now. Love. Okay, the last couple of freestyles have been very vitriolic. They've been very angry. And believe it or not, this one's kinda still, but not at the same time. Now, I've said several times, of course, that this past week, Wednesday, as a matter of fact, the 17th, was my wedding anniversary. It should have been my 31st wedding anniversary. And as I say at the end of every one of my shows with you guys, and most of the streaming shows that I do, you know, I love my wife. I am still in love with my wife. Our rings, even though I don't wear my ring on my finger anymore, I have it on a necklace. And her ring has never left me. There was even a time where I was suggested to take a day spa day. And I did. And they said, well, you know, you need to take off your necklace so we can do this. I'm like, no. No. It's not gonna be right for no. Okay. Love is something special. And it really depends as to what level, what type of love. Because there are a lot of different terms in other languages other than English that describe different types of love. And I'm not going to go into them all because there's just so many, and they cover so many different things. There is one that is specifically the love for your fellow man. And I use fellow human. And yeah, that's kind of elitist against, you know, pretty much every other species on the planet. But, you know, like appreciates like. I get that. So I want people to understand that these past couple of times when I have been yelling and screaming at groups that I think have done us wrong as a society, it's because I love my country. I love the promise that my country had when I was in my youth. The idea that everybody would play fair, that if you worked hard enough, you could get ahead. Not that you would become richer than a dragon covering a literal mountain of gold, but that you'd do okay for yourself. That you'd be able to help yourself, your family, help to make sure that things were a little bit easier for them, and consequently, you'd be able to help others around you. That's where that comes from for me. That level of being upset, because I love what we are being denied. You show us possibilities in fiction of how we could have a better society. You brought my generation, even a previous generation, and future generations from me up on Star Trek and Star Wars where the idea was, with Star Wars, when fascism, even highly technological fascism, comes, you fight. You gather, you get people together, you do what's necessary to fight and to defeat it. Star Trek showed us that there is a way for us as a community of societies to move forward, to help each other, to share knowledge, to share technology, to go boldly into the abyss that is simply empty space to find out what's on the other side. And you get upset when we want things to go that way? The idea is that we're supposed to be able to get to the future together, hand in hand, for the better good of everyone. That's the level of love that we expect. That's the level of love that I don't know about anybody else, but that's what I want. And if I have to go ahead and tell people that they're being fucks about it, I'll do that. I don't wanna, but I'll do it. Don't do that. Thanks. That out of the way, let's do the scopes, because I worked really hard on the scopes and they're really worth it. So, for the horrible scopes, if you know what your astrological sign is, cool. If you don't, you can just roll a d12. I don't care. It can be pretty much whatever you want it to be, and if you want one of those d12s, you can order it from the nice folks over there at Heart of the Game Fredonia. Yeah, they know that I keep mentioning them. I think they maybe still know that I mention them, but, I mention them anyway. Heart of the Game Fredonia. Hail, hail, Fredonia. Home of the Blue Devil. They're the store with the mimic in the window. They're supposed to have a mimic in the window. That's what I'm going with. Now, normally we don't try to hide things in plain sight. It's such a cliche way for ciphers to be laid out. For instance, in the episode of the Bloodhound Gang from 321 Contact, they learned that ELJB, PTBBQ, ELJB actually means home sweet home. Now, that's a cute horizontal code. But what if your hidden info is vertically hidden in plain sight? Tune in next time for the exciting conclusion of this conundrum. Yeah, some people are going to have to read these later in order to figure it all out. Aries. Hotels are rife with murder mysteries, it seems, and one of the best murder mystery movies has got to be 1985's Clue. The cast is amazing. The deliveries were on point, and if you wanted to see the full movie, you needed to watch it 3 times. Hey, that's a clue to the Home Sweet Home puzzle. So this week, Tim Curry said this was his favorite film that he appeared in. Why this instead of Muppet Treasure Island? Watch them both and think about it.
Taurus, every once in a while, there's what feels like a punishment thanks to the universe. Feeling like you got 1 step forward and 4 steps back. Yes, it feels worse than the more common version of the expression, and that's why we said it. Just remember, it's not that you deserved it, but that sometimes bad things just happen. So this week, when the next rainstorm happens, change into your swimsuit and stand out in the rain. Close your eyes and just listen to the rain falling on you. It'll be soothing for your mind. And if you really want to knock out two birds with 1 stone, bring a bar of soap with you.
3 birds. Stand there and scream, "Is that the best you've got?"
No, because that's how you get struck by lightning.
We do not believe in gods on this podcast, but we appreciate the great god Murphy.
Yes.
Gemini, attention to detail is going to help you solve this week's code. And you're one of the people we expect to solve the challenge first. It's not the same attention as so many others have. You just hate it when things are out of order. Kind of like how everyone else's horoscopes is in 12-point font, but yours is in 11.5. Shoo. Oh, now you're going to want to check it for yourself, won't you? Oh, typical. So this week, do you have any idea about how predictable you are? Look up what the Batman Gambit is, because it was written about you. Called me out, you son of a.
It gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys actually check to see if that's actually correct? Cancer Moonchild. Recreating entire solar systems on your computer with Universe Sandbox is fascinating. Imagine it. Giving Earth rings like Saturn's just to see what the skies would look like is cool and all, but what enough if you replace the sun? I think I had a brain aneurysm when I wrote this. What the hell did I write?
I think you were listening to the
But
song
if
Black Hole Sun.
if you replace the sun with a black hole of equal mass, you know what happens? You know how long until the Earth falls into it? Yeah, you were having something. So this week, study up on your orbital mechanics because we're pretty sure you got the answer wrong.
Um,
Hmm?
wasn't that mine?
Yeah, just trying to help you out. You couldn't figure out what you wrote.
Leo, tango dancing is sexy as hell. You don't think you can do it, but have we got news for you? Not only can you do it, but we bet you'll be great at it. All you need to do is learn the dance steps, then learn how to be aware of everyone around you, where they're moving to, where they're leading to. Make sure you don't fall over any chairs, and all the while explain right where you're leading your partner without uttering a word or keeping eye contact. Simple, right? So this week, take a dancing class and learn how to do this. You'll become the sexiest version of yourself in no time. Trust us.
Virgo. Silly, silly Virgo. You thought the stars were going to be demeaning to you, but you learned otherwise. Not everyone is looking to insult you. You've just been gut punched so many times that you're expecting it even when it's not going to happen. You need something resembling vacation time. So this week, the term demeaning means to talk down to someone. We thought you'd like to know.
And just to make sure that everybody's on board on this one, um, thank you, Bob Newhart. Thank you for that joke inspiration. Libra, terrible things are waiting to happen to you, but then you've had terrible things happen to you already. You're still here, still making your way through, and still someone we believe in. So this week, was this a scope that only lies, or the one that only tells the truth? Which door will you choose? Which door?
The one that's locked so I don't have to go through it. Scorpio, repulsion of like poles on a magnet is how maglev transportation works. It makes trains float just over the surfaces. But do you know that it's possible, if not maybe efficient, to use that same system on a planetary scale? Imagine it. Orbiting a planet and using its own magnetic field to adjust your velocity and direction. It's almost science fiction, right? So this week, every evolution in human transportation has been a change in how we push against something. See if you can envision how we can fall into something instead. And yes, technically that's Star Trek warp drive. So what? Work on it.
Sagittarius, in case you're unaware of the course of tonight's Clue Fest, you're an important part of it. Oh, yeah, as just yourself and not a make or break. But when you work with everyone else, you're the bridge that connects all the dots. Does that mean you need to print out this week's Horrible Scouts and connect all the periods with red markers to see the secret message? And yes, there is a secret message in this Horrible Scope. I'm pretty sure I found it. Oh, come on now. Do you really think we're that good at spacing everything out? So this week, get a corkboard, red thread, and some push pins. You might, and we repeat, might just find what's encoded in these scopes. Good luck.
There is something that's encoded into the scopes, but how to get to it? Capricorn, nothing special for you this week, but that's not at all unusual, because if something special happens all the time, it becomes definitionally common, right? And if nothing else, you love to be right on technicalities, right? So this week, did you get a DQ Blizzard yet? We told you last week. We'll tell you again. Get thee to a DQ.
It's 110 degrees outside. You get a milkshake. I think it says that in the Weight Watchers handbook.
Don't care if it does or if it doesn't. It does now. That's what Sharpies are for.
I miss that man. Such a wit. Aquarius. Getting afraid we're coming for you again? Relax. We're having fun at everyone else this time, so you get to enjoy their discomfort with us. But since we need to have you learn something special, we're going for this. So this week, find your local Coast Guard station and take a boating course. Not because you're planning on piloting a watercraft, but because you get to learn all the cool knot tying techniques.
Pisces. So you think you're the special one in the group, don't you? Just because you come last doesn't mean we're letting you off the hook here. You heard all the other clues, all the ideas, and how to find the message, and now it's up to you to figure it out. We've got you a really cool clue on how you can find the solutions. So this week, download this week's scopes, remove all that control and special characters, do a ROT13 encode on it, feed that through a UD coder utility, and finally find a program that'll display an Amiga IFF ILBM image. You thought this was going to be easy? Shows what you know.
There are some people right now that are going, ooh, oh, you're my people. Those are your horrible scopes for this week. Remember, if you like what you got, I don't really much care. But, of course, as always, if you'd like a nicer or naughtier one for yourself or someone else, you can bribe me by asking, because I work off of bribery. Consequently, if you'd like to physically, or literally, bribe me, take a swing over to the coffee page, coffee.com/Icarus the Lunar Guard. I'll have these posted at the end of the week, Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, BlueSky, so you can download all this stuff and you can find out and look for yourself. Where is the code? And for the record, yes, there is a different spacing for letters and lines, the kerning on words between 12-point and 11.5-point fonts. How much of a difference? Just enough of a difference.
I'm giving you a wonderfully friendly Trudeau salute. ×2.
Works for me. This is episode 501 on the docket, runner. And I am not a fan of Jim Carrey, but I'll channel him this time. And that's the game. So there's an image that came up in my various feeds this week, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to put it. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to be putting it over here in the top right-hand corner of the screen for you. And if you want to see it, it's also over on our Discord in the general channel. I should have really put it into the picture repository, but I didn't think to do that just yet. Here's the picture. And I think this one came through on Tumblr for me originally. Don't know who it is that wrote this, but it says, I'd rather receive false information and keep my conservative views than receive true information and follow a socialistic agenda. And the reaction afterwards says, you did it. You broke conservatism down to its bare essentials. You know what? Yeah. That's what it comes down to. That's really what it comes down to. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm one of the few people who has said, if there was suddenly a genie that gave me one wish, any one wish that I could possibly ask for, whether it's possible to be done or not possible to be done, it will happen. Would I ask for my wife back? No. Would I ask for the end of cancer? No. I would wish for there never to be willful ignorance ever again. Because once willful ignorance is gone, it's no longer a possible solution, if you will, to, well, I just don't believe you. Then nobody has an excuse for acting in bad faith, where they can just say, yeah, but I just wanted to do my own research. No, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. So when we go ahead and we say that somebody is wrong, and we can back it up, and they say, no, I don't believe you. My brother in Christ, the data is here. The facts are here. This is indisputable information. We have video proof. We have audio proof. We have still images. We have financial records. We have all the stuff that proves it. Well, no, that's wrong. I have a finger that I'd like to sell you. So we're gonna kind of touch a little bit on this. Is it going to be a touchy subject? A little bit, but it's not going to be yelly screamy like it was the last 2 weeks. Although, oh my God, that was so much fun. It was so much fun to do that. So let's cover the simple pieces right off the bat. Guys, willful ignorance. Is that a collective yay or a collective get the fuck out? I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
Willful ignorance is a major problem.
But is it willful or is it learned ignorance because the people that have been setting up the schools that they've gone through have decided to make it so that the children that come out as young adults are stupid?
So I find that there is it's really not that hard to define it. Willful ignorance is knowing something and refusing to accept it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like knowing that if I don't pay my electric bill, my electricity is going to get cut off. And then I decide, well, I don't feel like paying it. And, they can bitch and moan all they want, but they're not going to cut my electricity off. That's being willfully ignorant right there. Okay. Because I know they'll cut it off. It's in the terms and conditions, the contract agreement. It's essentially in my bill policy. This is not something that's new. Okay. And um, it's just like with computers, like Shu and I were all talking about before the show started. There is willful ignorance. It's like there is when somebody does something wrong on a computer and the computer goes error, like it's programmed to do because it received bad input in some way, shape, or form. You clicked on the wrong spot, you used the wrong mouse button, you hit the wrong keyboard command, that cat jumped on the keyboard.
You fed the wrong information that was being expected.
Exactly. In some way, shape, or form. And computers aren't perfect because they're made by imperfect people. Okay. But something happened. The right set of circumstances occurred to cause an error. And you go, the computer's broken. I didn't do anything. Bullshit. You did something. You are afraid to admit it. And then and when you use the excuse of, I'm not a computer person, I don't understand this stuff, you are choosing to be willfully ignorant of how the system functions, of what it is doing. Okay. You are choosing to be
Um,
willfully ignorant
mm,
of operating the machine. Because if you're driving a car, okay, and you turn the key and the car refuses to start, and the gas gauge says it's on empty, and you go, I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm not a mechanic. You, my friend, are being willfully ignorant.
um, I, I want to slide sideways on this one just a little bit because the example that you're giving me, I'm not sure that that's quite the way that I would describe it.
With the
Um,
level of people that I deal with and the
n-
problems they encounter, it's willful ignorance. This is not,
no,
it's an advanced programming issue.
well,
It's your mouse isn't working because if you haven't noticed yet, you've kicked out the plug. Oh, I didn't do that. Okay, sure, whatever, Sherlock.
that now that's a spot where I could believe that one, and that one I could get behind, because for me, willful ignorance is, here is a situation, here are the facts. I refuse to accept your facts.
Hmm.
That's where the piece is. Now,
Yeah.
now, computer suddenly doesn't work, is complaining and bitching and moaning. I didn't do anything. That's not yet willful ignorance. Well, what had to have happened was da 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 da, which means if you're the only one using it, you had to have done ba da 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 da, and that's why it's doing this. Well, I
And
don't
they
think
are.
that I did that. There it is. That's the difference.
And that's what I encounter a lot of. I encounter a lot of user base where they go, the machine just suddenly stopped working. It's like, no, no, it didn't. What did you
Well,
do?
I don't know,
Well,
man. If there was a thunderstorm recently and your UPS has suddenly started screaming at you, I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
let's not go there. Let's not help them out, make excuse.
You've called me for tech support about your printer when a hurricane is about to bear down on you?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, don't worry about the printer. I'm sure your insurance will deal with it. Go get yourself someplace safe.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. I can tie a knot. I can put a perfect bow on this one.
Tornadoes in Buffalo recently, remember? Hi.
Hi.
Mhm.
I tell you, in 3 weeks, your government issued computer is being replaced. Okay, so you have 3 weeks and you get a new computer. Okay, great. Newer computer, faster model, it's going to have more RAM, yada, yada, yada. All in
Ooh.
all, it's going to be a better experience than the previous model.
Ooh.
And that's generally the case.
Okay,
But
you can stop now.
in my email,
I'm hard enough as it is right now. Thank you. I
okay,
appreciate
you're
that.
welcome. Now, in the meantime, the second sentence is you need to back up your bookmarks. Here is the Word document that allows you to back up the bookmarks. It tells you how to back up your bookmarks for every single web browser that's on these government machines. There's only three: Microsoft Edge,
Hmm.
Google Chrome, and
Hmm.
Firefox. Whichever one you use, the instructions cover. Page one is Google, page two is Microsoft Edge, and page three is Firefox.
Do we really still have
And
to be using Edge? Do we really still have to be using it? All right.
when
They
you
are
use
forcing us to use Edge, and I
when it
get
comes to
pissed
government
off.
contracts, yes, you're going to be using Edge. Anyway, but the point is that when I give you the information, and the instructions of what you need to do. And you come back and go, I can't do this because I'm not a computer person. And I've included, illustrated illustrations for every single step. Okay.
Yep.
To the point of where a dummy book couldn't go, oh wow, that's wow. Yeah. You're better than us at this.
I still got one of my dummy books over there.
But the problem with the dummy books is even if they have the picture, it's like once every 2-3 pages and they're black and white and they're not necessarily on the system you're using. Whereas I keep my stuff up to date and it's screenshots from our systems. Yeah, oh God, there you go. Nice.
Yeah, it's not a
That's fun.
Shilton's manual, but Hayes. I mean, it's almost as good. Never mind. I'm
But I
sorry.
can tell you what happens. They get the new computer. The old computer gets retired, which means it's no longer accessible. Period. End of conversation. Full stop.
And then they throw
And
a
they
fit.
come back and go, and they throw a fit because their bookmarks are gone. And I said, "Where did you not read the email about the bookmarks?" And they're like, "I'm not a computer person." That's that's willful ignorance right there.
Yeah, and just to cover all bases, as somebody that's also kind of done a little bit of this too, remember, if they tell you you have a home network drive, you use the home network drive. Because if you don't, bad things are going to happen on your next review. Really bad things are going to happen on your next review.
That's assuming your review is saved properly to the home network drive.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, I mean, I just get fed up with it, man.
I get you.
It's one thing for somebody to go, "Hey, look, I've got an error on my screen and I don't understand the message it's telling me." Okay, great. Let's walk through it together because it might be a complex message, but it might be a simple one, but maybe it's worded funky because you and we all know engineers are engineers.
Yep.
Whether they're software engineers, mechanical engineers, or aeronautical engineers, it doesn't matter. If they've written an error code or a manual, it's written for other engineers. I can work with that.
Yeah. Just really quickly, because I'm gonna bring it over to something else in just a second here. For those of you that don't know, once upon a time ago, the Amiga platform. Hi, I really want my Amiga back up and running again. Thank you. The Amiga OS level error message is called the Guru Meditation error. Believe it or not, that's what it was at the OS level. Guru Meditation error. Because it was a reference to a game that the company that originally produced Amiga computers had built. So they brought over the Guru Meditation error from one of their games from way back when. I am going to get your reaction on this one. Stephanie had also said, someone did interviews of attendees at the RNC, the Republican National Conference. They recited the lines and refused to accept facts. Apparently, the fact checkers could not keep up with the felon's speech at the RNC. Yeah, I want your reaction to that in particular, that the word salad was just flowing like, I mean, you're
Okay, so you're assuming that I even watched it.
no.
I saw it come up on my channel surfing, and I went, I'm gonna watch Dune 2.
No, that's not what I'm going with. I want to go with the fact that you were an ex-Canadian, you're a Canadian expat, and that the expression "like shit through a goose" actually means something to you, because that's pretty much the vomit salad that was going on here. The description. So that's the area I
No,
love.
what they did is that they stuck a tube up that shit goose's ass, so that as it was spewing the verbal vomit, eventually it got to the shit because it was being cleaned out from the other end.
Yeah. Yeah, it's freaking
I
amazing.
didn't really watch it. I caught snippets.
I didn't even get that
Um,
much, so you're ahead of
the
me on this.
Midas Touch is keeping me updated, as well as a couple other little things that I follow. History of Everything actually did a really good cast earlier today about all the times that the presidents have been assassinated, but the attempts, not the actual assassinations. Although I think he actually included the actual assassinations in it too. And
He
apparently
did.
Trump has two other assassination attempts on him as president or former president, and possibly one way back in his 30s when he was judge, owner, whatever of that stupid beauty contest. You know, obviously he if he dies, something worse happens because the time travelers keep on stopping the assassination attempts.
Yeah.
So one thing that people should probably keep in mind is that before he was even a president, God, I can't believe I actually have to say it. Before Trump was a president, his businesses had a habit of hiring people to do a job, hiring companies to do a job. And then when the job was all said and done, they refused to pay, saying, oh, it wasn't up to spec or this, that, or the other thing. Any excuse under the sun and over the sun, around it, behind it, and through it. But the point is that he would his team of lawyers would then tie everything up in court to the point of where either A, the small business people that he would hire and ultimately do this to, because he did it to a lot of small businesses, went broke, so they couldn't fight anymore and were forced to give up the chase, or they just it instead of going broke, it just went on for so long that they had to drop it because they couldn't spend any more time on it. And there's a lot of people that, again, before he was even a president, hated him with all their being and would have loved to have seen him become unalived. To say that he has a laundry list of people who are potential suspects is an understatement of how much he is hated.
Yeah. I can well imagine there are a number of construction companies that probably have ties to different organizations that might find it advantageous or even enjoyable to find ways of bringing physical harm to individuals, perhaps by taking them out onto the Jersey Turnpike and having the car stop at the toll booth at the Jersey Turnpike with a cannoli in the back seat.
Shoes, as the saying used to go. Cement shoes.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. There's some people that understand, the
Oh,
cannoli. Take the cannoli. I could really go for some cannoli right about now.
I would go for a good cannoli
Me
because there's a
too.
lot of bad ones made by a lot of the
No, that's
neighbors
true.
around.
That's true.
But
I've
my
made, okay, I know this is kind of sideways for a second, but I made
Kinda.
I made cannoli for myself one time. Cannoli filling, I should say, because making the shells. Nah, man, no, I know better. But you can buy the shells, no problem. You can buy cannoli frozen. I don't have a problem with that. Every once in a while, I do that on the way home before the show. But the one time I actually made cannoli filling for myself, I didn't realize what it was that was in it. It's like, this is really what it is? Nah, man. Then I tried it. I'm like, I've been missing out all my life.
Add a good dark chocolate powder to it. Blend. Yum.
Chocolate, not chocolate chips, but chocolate, how to describe
No,
it.
what I did was I took dark chocolate and I ground it into a fine, almost a powder
Okay,
with a food processor,
okay,
and then I added that to the cannoli filling,
okay. That's fair. And for
and then
those of you that are
folded
wondering,
it. It's beautiful.
yeah, and for those of you that are wondering, cannoli filling is at its base, um, it is ricotta cheese.
Hmm.
The same stuff that you would otherwise use as one of the layers. No, we're not using bechamel. No, fuck you. We're not using bechamel. Ricotta, because that's the way it's supposed to be. I don't care what they do in Italy. For lasagna, the only difference is you're using powdered sugar in it. Yes, you're eating sweet cheese. I don't care. Fuck you.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and it is. It's.
Oh,
You enjoyed it.
I did.
Well,
I actually finished the drink. Holy shit.
no, holy crap.
That's a good one.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were trying to remember the name of the show.
Um, there's not enough alcohol for me to forget the name of the show just yet. But I mean, we're working on it.
See, I'm actually having Contral and coffee.
So you're going to be wired and sleepy. Nice. That was actually pretty good. Wow. All right.
Oh,
I'm
coffee and
I'm
orange
just
goes
sitting
well
over
together.
here whimpering because my poor foot and my leg, and
Look, if your leg's bothering you that bad, just cut it off.
Almost
Solves the
happened.
problem.
Almost happened. Let's not worry
yeah,
about that.
yeah, that just
Yeah.
I said it in jest. I didn't mean it for it to actually happen.
No, I know that. I'm going to
it
guess.
almost happened.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of.
Sorry, when I saw the bruise, I thought it was just like a big ass bump.
No, 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 no. It actually goes all the way around my leg, but that's what's at the surface. And there's another bruise that's come up on the other side of that foot. So the
Gotcha.
inside. And
Sorry,
that
I was ignorant of the facts. I apologize for the poorly made joke.
I don't care.
No, no, I'm playing into the whole willful ignorance thing here.
What?
See,
He gets it.
I see what
He
you
got
did.
it.
See, I'm
He got it.
gonna do the Isaac double finger gun thing right there. That's yeah. There's some people who are still young enough who have no idea Isaac and the double finger gun thing. Um, that's just great. I'm an
There
old.
are people who don't remember what a telephone is, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you make one of these?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still have this over.
Mine hung on the wall.
I mean, you could hang this one on the wall, but I really don't recommend it.
The only way I saw those ever hung on a wall was with a specially made shelf.
Yeah, exactly. So, so the idea that there is a segment of the population, a significant, a non-zero percentage of the population of my country, never mind worldwide, that refuses to accept reality when presented with corroborating evidence that is simply unassailable by anything other than ignorance is simply something that needs to be gone.
Mm.
And give you one more example of willful ignorance that is harmful. And this goes back a little ways, and this is something that made the atheist circles some years ago. I forget how long ago, within the last 10 years, give or take. There was someone, a skeptical investigator, who was brought to a shrine in, if memory serves, I believe it was in India. Pretty sure it was in India. Because the monument to I think it was the Virgin Mary, I don't remember, to some religious figure, was weeping. It had water that was coming out of it, perhaps tears coming off of it. And people were finding it as a miracle, collecting it, ingesting it, and they challenged this person to, supposedly in good faith, to try to explain this miracle. And the person said, you know what? I mean, you're asking me to, and we're doing this in good faith. You know what? Okay, I will investigate it, and the facts will take me where they take me, and okay. And eventually found out that the water that was coming out of this shrine, out of this statue, this whatever it was actually being fed from the plumbing, the sewer plumbing.
Yep.
They were intentionally, without realizing it, ingesting sewer water.
Ew.
And when presented with the information and the evidence and the documentation to prove that he had this right, they went after his ass in a physical way. Now, I don't remember who it was, when exactly this was, or where exactly this was, but I know that we will have it in the show notes a little bit later. If nothing else, just put a couple of notes over there so that I can go look it up, because I know that this happened. But the idea that this level of, I'm going to use an expression here and I need to explain, this level of religious fervor is a thing scares the shit out of me. I need to explain this specific selection of words very quickly. After the terrorist attacks in September of 2001 in New York City, there was a lot of stuff that just went dark as far as television was concerned. And sometime shortly thereafter, David Letterman came back on the air, and he had an opening monologue where he specifically said, and I'm going to paraphrase just a little bit because I can't remember the exact, but I know that I've watched this monologue several times. I had this monologue as audio in my music collection for exactly the reason of being able to listen to it every once in a while. And he said, these people were motivated by religious fervor. Religious fervor. May I live 1,000 years and never understand what that actually means in this case. I am highly paraphrasing what he said at this point, but I still stand by that. I absolutely cannot understand that level of religious fervor where you get told your people are ingesting sewer water, and here's the documentation to prove it, and you asked me to go and look this up, and here is this is all the information. Here it is compiled so that you can look over the information yourself. You can verify that I'm right or that I'm wrong. Here is what you asked for, and now you're pissed off at me because I did what you asked me to do and you don't like the results. If you don't like the answer, you shouldn't have asked the question.
By the way, the guy who revealed that it was, just water, that it was a faulty sewage system. He had so this occurred in India. He fled to Finland in 2012.
Okay, so
12 years ago.
12 years, okay.
In fact, July 31st, we're coming up on his anniversary in 10 days.
Jeez. Oh, by the way, Felix, hi. Good to see you.
As of 2014, the Catholic Secular Forum have still been saying that they will call for his prosecution if he ever returns to India under the blasphemy law of India.
I can't believe I'm gonna.
They ran him out of the country, is what they did.
That is not the alcohol talking. That is the absolute truthful reaction on my part, because holy, if
And-
Heretic Woman were here, I cannot tell you the level of vitriol that would be spewing right now. Holy Jesus. Did you have a name for him, by the way?
Yeah, but I can't pronounce it. Not without screwing it up. Okay.
Drop the name of the host
So-
chat so I can.
So the first name is Sanal, Sanal, Edamaruku.
I think
If I'm saying it right.
Yeah, I think you got it right. Anamaruku. That sounds right.
He's the founder, president, and editor of the Rationalist International.
Yes. Yep. That's the guy. You got it right.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I don't know that you'd ever heard about this particular story. Probably.
Oh, I
not.
had.
Well,
I also heard about the one where, I think it was in Rio. I don't know. I'll have to look the next one up. There was a case where people were going to a statue and they were kneeling down and praying, and they would hallucinate. And what it was is there was actually a gas leak.
I feel like I remember that. Oof. Oh, that's just. Ooh. I don't like that.
I have vague memories of religious fervor because my mother was, I guess, Islam light. She was a Baha'i.
Okay.
And I saw her do her full-on religious praying, where she would start praying, she wouldn't stop for hours, if not days. And I remember vaguely when one of the higher-ups in the Baha'i faith died. Late 70s, early 80s. I was little still. And just the outpouring of grief.
Yeah,
Hmm?
sorry. Nope, sorry. Keep going.
Go
Keep
for
going.
it.
Nope, keep going.
Me? Um, there was also the song Mona with the Children, written by Doug Cameron. And everything in it is incorrect except for that, yes, a young woman was killed with other women in Iran. She wasn't 16, she was 17. Yes, she was teaching kids when she shouldn't have been teaching kids, because that was what the rules were. But it was basically stretching the truth.
Joy.
Mm-hmm. And when that song came out, all Baha'is were crazy about it.
Yeah, Tech, whatever it is that you got, you better hit it now, because let me tell you, I'm about to piss off a lot of people really fast.
Well, I was just going to say that in trying to search for the other thing that I was thinking about, which I can't find, but who knows, maybe I'm misremembering.
Zealotry?
No, about the statue. What I did find is that apparently reporting statues of like the Virgin Mary or Jesus weeping is actually a common occurrence. One of the common reasons, condensation on the statue.
Yep.
Just because of the way it's angled, the head is tilted, the facial features, just the same way people sweat, comes down over their head, everything else, and it pulls near their eyes and all that. Same thing, which you know, hadn't thought of. So that one came to me as something I learned new today.
Ooh.
Yep. And like I said, I'm about to piss off some people, and I don't really much care.
Go for it.
Those of you who are of a specific type, I'm going to go very specifically and say those of you who are of my type, who are immigrant families, especially Italian immigrant families, maybe 2 years off the boat, maybe 3, doesn't matter.
I was thinking AB negative, but sure.
Those of you that Roman Catholic especially. And for some of you, you might be from the Latin American countries too, but still, you Roman Catholics. Fuck your faces. When you have been told and shown again and had excavations done in Canada, digging up mass graves of children at relocation schools to teach them better after the native children were taken away from their native families. And whoopsie, the Catholic Church says, well, we didn't have anything to do with that. When, motherfucker, here's the documentation that proves, yes, you did. Oh, by the way, Boston, New York, Florida, Georgia, the entirety of the United States, who only knows how many places in Italy itself, the fucking sex scandal, the gay sex scandals in Vatican fucking City itself, and the bunches of you want to go ahead and say, well, I'm still going to go ahead and tithe to the Catholic Church. The fact that you are going ahead and giving money voluntarily to an organization that has been systematically hiding pedophilic activities, fuck your faces. I wasn't going to do it, but you know what? I will go ahead and I will say it again. I will be looking back in my Facebook feeds again, and I will be checking people again, and I will be finding out if people have said they are still supporting Catholic churches. Nope. Nope. Fuck you. Go away. You are no longer part of my circle. Fuck you. And if anybody's got a problem with that, fuck you. I did it once before with Tommy. You guys remember Tommy, the guy that said, I'm going to go tonight and kiss my wife before we go to sleep, and that's something that you can't do. Remember the guy I was talking about a couple weeks ago who he's probably going to end up fatally finished with his new job as a bounty hunter because he's divorced now and his ex-wife lists herself as single instead of divorced? Oh, well. You know, we my wife and I, we said that we would love each other and until death do us part. Last I checked, the two of you were still alive, so yeah, which one of us actually had a marriage that was worthwhile? Good job. Good job there, Tommy. How's that Yamaha DX7? Did you sell that for your tattoo collection, by the way? I'm sorry, was that mean-spirited, that one? I don't care. I don't care.
I'm just letting you rant because you can.
Yeah. Yeah, there are times when I can find myself my topic and I will just hit my stride before anybody's realized it's happened. And then just, yeah, 12 minutes have gone by and wow, shit. Where's everybody else talking? Because I'm waiting for everybody else to. Oh, yeah, you're still. Are you done? Are you done yet? Because we don't think you're done yet.
We know you ain't done.
I had a friend of mine who, in Arizona, I think is where it was. he went to a vet's office. Um, he went to a vet's office for his for his dogs. Guy came in with a puppy, and he wanted to bring the puppy back because it was chewing on just everything, and the uh, the person that was attending at the front desk started to rail into him, gave him the freaking right. The guy that was returning a puppy started reading him the riot act, gave him everything, made this guy start to just cower. The doctor in the back heard the commotion, came out front to see what was going on. The whoever it was that was manning the front, who was berating this guy, finally paused when they realized that the doctor was behind her, and looked at the doctor, and the doctor looked at the person manning the desk, looked at the other guy, started to turn around to go back, and just said, "She's not done with you." And she went back on again. The doctor went to the back again, and the woman at the counter just railed into this son of a bitch, and this guy eventually turned tail, took the puppy home, and continued to have the puppy because puppies bite, because puppies gnaw, because that's what puppies do. I'm the type of person where everybody else can go, yeah, he's not done with you. We'll wait. Yes, I'm proud of myself that way. That is the type of personality I am sometimes on the show, aren't I?
Nope.
Come on, Io, give me the compliment. Feed me a compliment. I need a compliment now. Just
A
say
compliment?
just say yes, you are. Just we'll move on from there.
Luna loves you?
Oh, wait, are we talking mentally or are we talking physically? Because there's a difference in the legal code. Well, no, that's not entirely true. The legal code in the United States does not recognize the Harkness factor. Shit. All right, fine, whatever.
The what?
For those of you that don't know, you should look up the Harkness test. You're welcome.
I hate you.
No, no, you don't. Because you should look it up. The Harkness test. Worthwhile. So these people at the Republican National Convention, I don't know that anybody else has noticed it. Bunches and bunches and bunches of people who've decided that maxi pads strapped to their side of their head is the new fashion statement.
Yeah, people do stupid
Shoo!
things.
Tell me I'm
Shoo!
wrong. Where is the lie? Where is the lie?
Shoo!
Yeah.
I'm so glad my camera wasn't on because my camera would now be wet. You got a spit take.
I'm glad she explained it for the rest of us so we didn't have to re-rate the show.
No, I'm
Look,
not, because I had another idea in my head, and now that's completely. You know what? Fine, whatever.
so look, here's the thing. People do really stupid stuff.
You
I want you to
think?
think about I want you to think about something here for a moment. Let's take Catholicism into account for a moment here.
Oh,
What
you're
is the
treading a
quote unquote
really thin line here, my friend.
Oh yeah, exactly. Um, so let's say for a moment that Jesus is a singular person who truly existed and was crucified on the cross
Jesus
and
was a
has
true person who crucified on the cross. Oh, you meant sorry, figure of speech.
yeah,
Sorry, going on.
yeah. So assuming for a moment that this person were real,
Mhm.
okay, which I don't think he was. Um, so assume for a moment that he was real, that he was truly crucified on the cross, turns out to be the Son of God, and gets reincarnated and is now walking around looking at all these people wearing a representative of the medieval torture device that he died on around their neck.
And just for clarification, no, it was not medieval. We know that. Just a
Or
figure of
whatever.
speech. Let it go.
Sorry, but
Primeval?
I'm sorry. I should say archaic.
That's good enough.
That too. Mhm.
Yeah.
See, we
An
can't
arch-
even say archaic when it comes to the guillotine either, because it was last used in the 70s. So screw you.
Yeah.
Star Wars had been out for several months when
What
it
you
was
can s-
last used.
what you can say was created in medieval times.
It depends as to whether or
Yeah.
not you want to sit there
Anyway,
for the entire
the point
production.
is that if I were to come, if I were this person and I were to come back and suddenly I see everybody wearing the symbol of what I was killed with around their necks as a homage to me,
Yeah.
my first thought would be, wow, that's really dumb. You're using a torture device to represent me.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I cannot be Christian. I cannot wear the symbol of somebody's murder, their torture and murder around my neck. I just can't.
And yet they do it. And they put it in buildings and they put it on the side of the road and they put it all over the place. And it's like, you know, and the worst part is the further south you go in the US, the more of these you see on the side of the road. If he was driving around and be like, I'm going to go back up north where I feel less afraid that I'm going to wind up on one of those things, especially since the guy wasn't white to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
So,
and
yeah.
and then and then you got these people that decide that it's okay to put it into their skin, even though different parts of that same text tell you really shouldn't be doing that. You know what I've got in my skin? I've got a symbol of my love. I know it's upside down for all of you that are trying to read it in Japanese. Yes, on my arm it says Shujin. And I get weird looks from people who read Chinese because they look at it and they're just like, "Do you know what that means?" In Japanese, it says husband. Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yes, I
So
know
what does
exactly
it
what
say in Chinese?
Um, effectively, it says man. I guess there's kind of like this nuancy thing to it, so it's kind of like a much more generic male person kind of thing. But it's what my wife always called me. And for the record, you know what? For the record, Shujin means husband, and the context is also master. Hold on a second, as in master of the house, as in Lurch comes to the front door after you've rung the bell and says, "Master Adams will see you now." That's the kind of thing. So that's what she called me, and that's also kind of the reason why I called her Fujin, which technically is kind of like wife. So those were our lovey-dovey names for each other. And if anybody's got a problem with that, you can take it up with my wife. Good luck with that, though. Every once in a while, I say something to my kid, and it's just like, oh, Jesus, I can't believe. Don't tell Mom I said that, all right? Just don't. Yeah, it's okay. Come on, man, is good. It's a good joke as any. Stephanie is pointing out medieval is usually defined as 4th century to around the 15th century.
I was not good in history class.
I never thought about it in terms of it would have been such an incredibly long stretch. Wow, that's a lot. I mean, to me that's like saying, okay, I'm going to try to hit a bullseye in time by throwing a shot put. I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying that right. You know, in my head it worked. Leave me alone. But damn, that's a 500 to 1600. That's a long ass time, man. Cool. Anyway, so yeah, the whole this whole ignorance thing just drives me up the wall. I mean,
You know, the kind of ignorance we get from just a bad education system, that can be corrected. That can
yes,
easily be corrected.
and it is because you've got things during the summer where there are tech summer camps. Oh shit, I'd forgotten about this. Oh fuck, I'd forgotten about this. Um, our friends over there at Ask an Atheist, over Sam and Becky over in Washington. I forgot about this. I haven't been playing the. I gotta get the. I gotta get the commercials for them for Camp Quest. Camp Quest is one of those things where kids come there and it's a summer camp, and they do all kinds of sciencey type things and learn
It's
critical
not
thinking, and it's
just
great.
the ki- it's not just the kids, it's the adults who've been ill-educated,
Yep.
and they're going to keep on spouting ill-education.
Yeah. Yeah. Adults can be taught. They can learn. But for some stupid reason, they've been convinced that they either can't or shouldn't. And that's the one that hurts me the most. I don't know about anybody else. I've been told that I couldn't do certain things growing up. And believe me when I say I will never discuss that with anybody. It just won't. But the idea of someone being told and taught you shouldn't learn things. That's the time when you absolutely should. You shouldn't read these books. Fuck you. That's exactly the reason why I'm going to go ahead. Fahrenheit 451, I will say, honestly, I don't believe that I've ever read it. I will fight to the death for someone to read it. Charlotte's Web, go ahead and do that one too. I don't care. I mean, 1984. I know full well I didn't read it. Read it. Go ahead, do it. Lord of the Flies, I know I've read parts of it. I know that I know the story, give or take. Read it. Animal Farm, do it. All these things where kids are being told, you are not allowed to read this. Fuck you, I'm gonna read it. Kids, if you don't know about it already, the Gutenberg Project is your friend. Because public domain is a good thing. Oh, well, Stephanie's given a little bit of a help. As far as the medieval terminology, it gets broken down into early, middle, and late because that is such a span of time. Things changed a lot. And you know what? If anybody in our group is going to know about this, it's you. Thank you. Actually, it should be thank you. By the way, a little education for you folks that don't know sign language. This, from your hand at your chin forward, is thank you. Taking your fist and running it in circles around the middle of your chest, right at your breastbone, that's I'm sorry. And taking two fingers and kind of doing the sippy cup kind of thing to what would otherwise be the brim of your hat and bouncing it a couple of times, that means idiot, moron. So if you want to insult somebody, but you want to do it surreptitiously, you can go ahead and you can tip your hat to them a couple of times. And if they kind of act insulted, what are you talking about? Huh? What did I do? I tipped my hat. That's oh, I had no idea. Oh, wow. I shouldn't do that anymore. I'm sorry. Well, thank you for telling me. Have a great day. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just a force of habit. It's a muscle memory. I'm sorry. I'll work on not doing that again. I'm sorry.
Oh, if my camera was on, I'd show you how I was taught to say loser.
Don't care. There's only one acceptable way of doing it, and that's there's a song that goes along with it, so it's just kind of whatever.
Okay, so they're now saying that the felon was hit by flying glass and not an actual bullet. I
Yeah,
don't know. It the way that
I'll wait
the
for the official
trajectory,
report.
yeah, you and me both.
it's never going to come out. He's going to hide it deeper than the Marianas Trench.
See, that's the funny part about this, IO. Tech, give me the line.
All is known.
Sooner or later, it's gonna get out. It's just a
Oh, that
question
one.
of when.
Sorry.
No, that's exactly right. All is known. Somebody knows. And sooner or later, that information's gonna get out there.
I think the better line is, um, 3 people can't keep a secret unless 2 of them are no longer alive.
And we can't be totally sure about the third anyway.
And that's a paraphrasing of the original one, which is a much longer phrase. But the long and short of it is that only one person can keep a secret if only one person knows. But the moment other people start going in on a secret, the statistical probability of it staying a secret drops like a rock.
Yep.
Which is why so many people used to get unalived by various groups when they were part of a secret that, well, the group felt that they didn't need that loose end hanging around.
Mm.
Yep. Yep.
So,
If you want to see that in action, Star Trek: Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country. First rule of assassination is you kill the assassins. Because then they can't be found out. They can't give up information, and well, there you go. Everything's all nice and safe that way. That is most assuredly not my favorite Star Trek movie, but it definitely has one of the most curious scenes when you realize that Spock basically mind meld rapes someone to get information out of them. And never would I ever have imagined that to have come out of Star Trek. Some people don't remember about that. Yeah, that's
I remember that one.
that was.
It was a very strong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was intentionally in the movie, and that was an incredibly powerful moment, because never in my wildest dreams would I've ever imagined a scene like that happening. And worse yet, being necessary. But it kind of was. And I feel bad saying it that way, but it really was. I am most assuredly not advocating for harm coming to people in such a fashion. We've talked about it before. Interrogation techniques that are torturous? Nope. We've talked about it before. It's just all kinds of wrong on so many levels, it's not even funny. But holy smoke. That fictional depiction? Never would have I imagined that. Oh, so okay. We'll cover a couple of things over in the chat. Io, Felix is saying, why no cam, Io? Because everybody on this show has a choice about it. I'm the only one who really does not, because I'm the ringleader, and in order for me to do my job, I need to be on. Nobody else needs to be, and in some cases, it works out better that way because bandwidth, believe it or not. Because bandwidth is the deciding factor. It's always the deciding factor. So maybe sometime we try again, but don't worry about it. Stephanie has also said, it is so much fun to watch as all the MAGA conspiracies get debunked by facts. My own hypothesis is that the shooter, who apparently was a terrible shot, wanted SBC. Now, I need a little bit of help on this one because I don't recognize what SBC is supposed to be.
I don't know what it is either.
Well, in one case, it's a news network.
SBC.
Another, it stands for Southern Baptist Convention.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure SBC is also a bank, but I can't.
Small Business Corporation.
Oh, you're just doing the what does SBC stand for, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Single
And
bullet.
it's also a church.
What does SBC stand for, Stephanie?
There's a delay. I know full well that it's going to come. It's just timing. We'll see what happens.
No, Phyllis, I am not in curlers. I am in a sports bra. I heard that.
What, me yawning?
No, more likely what's going through my head right about now. I'm not gonna say it.
Sorry, we don't advertise OnlyFans on this channel.
We could.
I don't have an OnlyFans. Nobody wants to see me. Trust me.
You put it in
There
2
is a
minutes ago.
fan for everybody.
Wait a minute. You put it in 2 minutes ago. What?
So put it in again.
I'm looking
That's what she said.
for it.
Sometimes stuff gets eaten. Yeah.
Oh, perhaps YouTube does not like it. Oh. Well, that's annoying.
Mm.
You know what? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. You know,
We'll have to decode it.
Yeah, try typing it backwards. I know that's a pain in the ass. Just,
And an all in uppercase. No, just...
eh.
And don't forget to use the flash tag for or the blink tag, the HTML blink tag on it.
Oh, I get it now. Don't say it.
Yeah.
Do not use the expression. I get what you were saying. Okay. Wow. That's an expression I had not thought about. Wow.
Well, it happened.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I get where you're going, but that's a level of conspiracy theory that's very wow.
My conspiracy theory is that he was contracted to do it. Maybe not paid, but somebody got into his head and suggested it.
Possible. It's also possible that, going off of this, that it was suggested if you make him, if you are the Judas to Jesus Trump, then you will have done better things for everyone. Congratulations. Because somebody's got to be Judas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tech, you finally figured out what that SBC stands for there, right?
Yeah, the only real way that a lot of the YouTubers can get around saying something like that is the concept of unaliving thyself using alternative means.
Yeah, that's as far as I want to take it. I've already
Well,
had
that's as far as how they usually
no, no,
take it, and it keeps them safe.
yeah. The reason I'm saying that is because just this week I had to yet again deal with YouTube trying to take down one of our previous videos yet again because they said, well, at this point in your video, you're talking about a verboten thing. You're not supposed to say that. And I had to go ahead and yet again remind them, go back about 10 seconds. You will see the lead up to that is we're complaining about people who do this verboten thing, and we're complaining about it. We're not advocating for it. We're complaining that people are doing it. Oh, okay. You know what? Everything's all fine again. I mean, I get you, YouTube, that you got to do your thing. I get that, but at the same time, there's Italian terminology right here, and I'm not gonna explain it because the decoding would take too long. Plus, it's visual. Yeah. So, yeah. Since we got to see about wrapping pretty shortly here, you know, there are so many conspiracies, and I am not immune to it myself because I think the possibility is too high for whatever it is going through my head. I'm not I am not anywhere saying I think this is what happened or putting a flag in the ground on this one. I have it in my head of maybe this happened this way and it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. There is a non-zero chance that this has happened. And the problem is just there's just so much stuff that's happened that we never expected, and it's just driving us all insane in our own little way.
I don't mind the honest people. I really don't. The honest people are the ones who are going, okay, here's the facts. I'm skeptical about these facts. I'm skeptical about the sources. I'm skeptical about the person presenting the material
Hell yeah.
or the manner in which they've presented the material. Because you and I both know, as well as many people who have studied statistics, is you can make statistics lie. Even though the numbers are accurate, you've presented them in such a way as that they're still telling a false narrative. So when people are skeptical about that stuff, they're like, you say this to be true. Here are your sources. Fine. I'm going to go do a little digging and I'm going to validate this information. Hey, pal, take all the time you need. You know? It's like, because if we want to have an open dialogue, I'm not going to rush you on that. I'm not going to push you on that. Yeah, go check it out, man. Here's all my sources. Here's how I vetted them. Here's the process I did, so that way you can see how I got to this. Have a nice day. You know, and I have somebody at work who is a different political leaning than I, but we're good, actually, really good coworkers and acquaintances. I wouldn't say we're friends because we don't do friend stuff outside of work, but at work we're very friendly. We're and not in that way. And no. And sorry. Anyway, um when we talk about something and there's a disagreement, we sit down and figure out where our disagreement stems from. Is it a source problem? Is it a hearsay problem? Is it a whatever? And so it's really nice to engage on that level with somebody like that. I don't mind that. I really don't. It's the other ones that, like we were talking about, like that we saw in the videos and the interviews and so on, going, oh, you say this happened? You say this is the facts? You have the evidence to prove that it's facts? I don't care. I refuse to believe it. That is a dishonest person. You have no value now.
Yeah.
except in an echo chamber with other people who are just as dishonest as you.
Yeah, I'll gonna throw it over your way in just a second, but I do want to acknowledge that Stephanie has pointed out um, the worst willful ignorance is the anti-vaxxers. I am intentionally speaking clearly to ensure that the YouTube system for voice analysis will understand that we agree that people who advocate for that position are willfully ignorant, that they are pushing a false narrative, and we in no way, shape, or form support or endorse those positions because it is a societal and species harm that has been done for literal decades. And I sincerely hope that there is no problem with the YouTube automatic CC system picking that one up. Io, over your way, because we're getting really close to finishing off.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm a smart vaxxer. I want to know what's going into my body because there have been family history of reactions to vaccines, including me. My mother
And
almost died from her smallpox vaccine because smallpox is an egg-based vaccine. I do not have the smallpox shot. I was not allowed to get it because of what happened with her. Her siblings as well could not have the smallpox vaccine. So, do I think vaccines cause autism? No. Do I think vaccines are life-saving? Yes. But I need to know what's going into me because you might be giving me something that will kill me.
that's an honest stance
Yep,
and a valid and a scientifically accurate stance, by the way,
a
because
reasoned stance.
there are doctors who will tell people who are demanding a vaccine made with something like eggs, for example, where they have an extreme allergic reaction to eggs, saying, and the doctor saying, no, you can't take it because of the base that vaccine was made with will harm you. And they're like, I don't care, give it to me anyway. And the doctor's going, I can't do any harm. I took an oath.
Well, you just harmed me, Doc.
Yeah.
Last year, I had the shingles vaccine, and it was within seconds. My arm went bright red and got itchy, and it was a fever burn. I can't have this next one. I can never actually finish that course because it could kill me.
Yeah,
I can't have the next COVID vaccine for at least a few more years because the last one I had, I ended up very, very sick. And I also had the same sort of rash on the arm, but it also went down my side.
And see, that's operating from of
reasoned.
a medically accurate reason.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was
This
treated
is
like all the other anti-vaxxers. Oh, vaccines aren't going to cause autism. Yeah, but it could kill me. It could kill my kid.
You know what? I think that for you, you are one of the few people because it is a significantly lower number percentage wise in the population where this kind of thing ends up happening with. Um, you are one of those people who could actually turn around and say, "You don't believe me? I have the documentation to prove what I'm telling you. Here's the file. Read."
and it would be from a legitimate doctor, not from a dentist office.
Yeah. My mother only survived her smallpox vaccine because my grandmother was an RN at the local hospital. So she called in all of her buddies, all the doctors, and she was told that none of her kids could have the smallpox vaccine.
Yeah.
And I've seen, I,
And
Now let me ask you this real quick. Do you mask up? Do you social distance as appropriate and everything else?
I don't mask up because my O2 level is too low normally. If I start to cough or I feel sick, then I do. But
Or when COVID spikes?
yeah,
Okay, so you take it at least some basic precautions.
you
Yeah,
should see
there's
how many
there's a
masks I
lot of
have.
anti-vaxxers that think it's a great idea to go out there and purposefully expose themselves to horrible things. And their kids. That's the difference.
yeah,
That's one of them anyway.
Yeah, when I had chicken pox in 2nd grade, I swear I remember kids coming to visit. I swear I do.
Yes,
yeah.
there were pox parties because we did not know what happens later on in life with shingles and all that other crap.
Hubris,
We
thy
learn
name
now.
is chickenpox.
We know better now.
Yeah, yeah, we do. Um, we've only got a couple of minutes before we have to pull the plug regardless. So let me just finish this off with this really quickly. Shut up. I'll finish this off really quickly, so that we don't get into any kind of a problem with anybody. Willful ignorance can and has killed. And for anybody that wants to go ahead and say that they've got the definitive idea on what is, what isn't, the whole thing, what is and what isn't willful ignorance, let's just make sure that we're completely and utterly clear on exactly how willful ignorance kills on a daily basis. The Jehovah's Witnesses, even though they know full well that it is a tried and safe, relatively, method of saving someone's life, to infuse them with blood. Reminding you, infuse, not transfuse. Infuse is actually adding blood to someone. Transfuse is to transfer from place to place, from body to body, typically, to change it all out. Infusing blood into people is verboten by their religion, and they will refuse to do it even for their children. Anybody that wants to go ahead and tell me that willful ignorance isn't dangerous doesn't understand what it looks or sounds like when a family is on their knees around a hospital bed, when a 6-year-old is fighting for their life with what little breath they have, when all they needed to do is to have a new needle added to their IV of saline. My wife had more blood transferred into her, infused into her during chemo than I could count. And trust me, I'm no slouch at counting. People, willful ignorance is a colossal societal species bad, and it must be fought at every opportunity, no matter the cost. Because the cost of allowing it to continue is the shitfest we have now. I don't want to be going through this again for another potential 8 years. And before anybody says, only 4 more years for him, no, there is going to be a fight to say that the amendment was for 2 consecutive terms, not 2 terms, no matter how far spaced apart. Mark my words, because somebody's already gone ahead and said that is a viable strategy to try to stay in office again. Fuck your faces if you think that this can't happen, because hubris will bite your ass completely off. You know, it's so much fun for me to end the show on a ranting note the same way that I start them. we need to get out of here, and we're going to be over time by just a couple moments. So let's do that. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Hope that you found something worthwhile in all of our perspectives, and you got something to think about for the week ahead. And I really am trying to kind of calm down after these shows. Don't worry about it. I'll be perfectly fine. My blood pressure is fine. I think I'm not blind yet, so I got to be doing something right. Yes, I know. I wear reading glasses and I've got contact lenses. Leave me alone. Shut up. Whatever the hell. Over in the live chat, Phyllis, Stephanie, thank you guys. Please take care of yourselves this week. It's always good to have you. Io, you made it back. I'm gonna have to get your information on like the permanent guest slot, I think. So thank you for being able to be with us again. You take care of yourself, would you please?
If you had let me rant about e-bikes being on sidewalks when they're not supposed to be, yeah. I'm hurting.
I know. Just
I'll be back next week if you need me.
Take care of yourself, huh? Tech, glad you're able to make it. And hey, another week without having a hurricane coming up the coast for you. So that's a good start.
Yeah.
Well, he's on the East Coast, and I grew up, a couple of states up from where he is. So yeah, hurricane season is no joke, man. So you take care of yourself.
I spent my first 9 years in Ontario, the rest of my time on the West Coast. Yeah. Mother Nature's a bitch.
That is Murphy's Rule number 13. I've memorized it. So, yeah, you take care of yourself, man.
Yeah, I got
it. For all of you, just to keep you in the loop with it all, Brigid was hoping to be able to join us. Obviously, as you know full well, she hasn't been with us for a couple of weeks. Real life has just been a pain in the ass and just a shitstorm for her. She does want to be back, but, timing-wise, it's just not been able to happen. So, collectively, we're pulling for you, hun. You take care of yourself. And, you're back when you're back. Don't worry about it. Just don't call any of us for bail money. We don't have any money. We barely have enough money to go ahead and do with what we got now. So, good luck. But we will see you again. We'll see you all again next week. We'll see you again next week. I was trying to think if there was something coming up that I need to warn you about. I don't think so at the moment. If there is, I'll make sure the notices are out there. All of our contact information is over at holycrapthevlogcast.com. You can be in touch with us that way. I am going to allow the phone number to just go away. All this time that we've had it, we've literally had no use for it. And even though it is free for us, and Google keeps saying, it costs us money, you know what? Fine, guys, you can have it back. Whatever. It's perfectly fine. We have got all of our social media presences. And of course, if you want to join us over there on Discord, link is there as well. Please do not be drinking and boating. We know that summer is here and folks want to do that. Drink and get drunk on dry land where if you fall, you bump your head. You fall overboard drunk, you will swallow water and you will become a statistic. Please do not do that. We want you back again to enjoy the show with us. So, as always, everyone, I wish you the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I've learned. I wish you well. And, like I said, Shujin, it should have been 31 years together. And I am still. Hey, Fujin. I love you. I miss you. Dream of me. Till the next time we're together, everyone. As always, good night.